how's it going everybody? Nirvana here, back with a free lesson video. This one's dedicated especially to all the Nepalese guitar players out there. This is my take, if you will, my take on 3 levels of what you can play over the G5 backing track. So before we get into the lesson, I'm just gonna say that I was gonna film this in Nepali originally, so don't get mad at me, but I'll tell you why I decided to stick with English. It was because I've got a lot of Aussie guitar player friends and a lot of Aussie students who love the G5 track, the original jam with all the legends, Gopal Dai, Sanjeev Dai, Firoz Dai, Praggya Dai and Manoj Dai, right? And they were just incredible on it, and I showed all of my students and they loved it, and so I just thought I'd make this video in English so they can watch it and kind of hopefully learn something from it. So yeah, let's get into the lesson and I hope you enjoy it. So before we get into level 1, let's just understand the chord progressions in this backing track. So this backing track I think was made by Shivam, which, man, you've done a fantastic job. So it's in 6/8 and the chords are this. So it's C, goes to E7, goes to A minor, goes to F, goes to F minor. So functionally speaking, in the key of C major, C is the 1 chord, then E7 is the 5 of the 6 chord. So the E in C generally is a minor. So we have C major, D minor, E minor. So the reason why this one in this context is an E7 is because that's leading us into the A minor chord, because the E7 comes before. So E7 is acting, or E dominant is acting like the dominant chord for the 6, right? So it goes C, 3 dominant, or the 5 of the 6 chord, then that lands to the 6, and then that goes to the 4 chord, which is the subdominant, and then goes to this, which is an F minor chord, which is actually, even though F is a subdominant chord, it's acting like a dominant, it's functioning like a dominant chord because it's such a strong resolution to C. So if you hear this, it's a very strong resolution, so we call this a minor plagal cadence in more classical terms. So yeah, and that's the chord. So let's dive into level 1. All right, so level 1, let's start playing over this backing track using more diatonic material. So let's use, so if you don't know what diatonic means, it means within the key of C major, so no outside notes, right? So diatonic to C major, you have A minor pentatonic, you've got C major pentatonic, and you've got the A minor scale or the C major scale, which is, you know, and you can kind of mix and match and this and that. The only thing I will say you have to be careful with is chords like the F minor, because if you play an A over, so you should try this out. So try to play an A note. So the A note, which is I'm playing the A note over here, or you can play it over here, wherever you want. So play the A note over F minor and see how bad that's going to sound, because it'll clash. It's a minor second. So A is right here, and in the chord, the third is an A flat. So it'll sound like this, which we don't want. Right, so the only thing is, you don't have to play the A flat in level 1, I guess, but just avoid playing the A when that F minor. So just being aware of where the chords is, I think that's like rule number 1, right? And you can also mix like the C minor pentatonic, like that kind of thing. That's super bluesy, Clapton-y thing. So that's level 1, and let's see what it's gonna sound like. Alright, so for level 2, we're going to try to be more aware of where our chords are sitting. So we're going to try to hit the target tones or the chord tones. So if you don't know what chord tones are, leave a comment down below and I'll make sure I'll make a video about it. And we're going to see if we can voice lead our lines a bit better. And just be aware, we're not using any fancy scales yet, but just hitting the chord tones or the important notes, the thirds or the sevenths of each of the chords that are going by. So for example, good voice leading would be, so it's G, C, E, going to G, going to G sharp, C going to B, and then E staying the same. So you can do that in your lines. So, let's have a look what it's going to sound like. So for level 3, we're going to take that one step further and we're going to try to use more outside sounds or, more altered melodic minor sounds. So for C, you can just use, C major. You can still superimpose stuff over it if you want to make it sound super hip, but you don't have to. So you got just C, and for that E, you can use E altered. So that's E altered, and then for A minor, just A minor. Then F, you can use F Lydian. And then for F minor, you use F melodic minor. Or you can also use for E7, use the E half whole diminished scale, which is. Like the chord that comes from it is a 13 flat 9, we call it. It's a dominant 7 chord with a 13th and a flat 9, and it repeats minor thirds. So that is the same thing as that, is the same thing as that, is the same thing as that. There's a lot of possibilities. We'll talk about diminished some other time, but you can use that kind of thing too. One last thing that I will talk about in that E7 chord is using the Phrygian dominant, or the more, I guess, the Mixolydian flat 9, flat 13, whatever, there's too many names, but it's this sound. To kind of resolve it to A, it sounds pretty cool. Hari Maharjan, who is an incredible guitar player, my former teacher from Nepal, he uses this a lot in his drum. It's a very gypsy jazz sound, like the, that. If you're like, what is he talking about? Leave a comment below and feel free to ask me questions. I'm more than happy to answer anything. Easier way to see that is as the 5th mode of the A harmonic minor. So A harmonic minor is A natural minor with a raised 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, flat 6. Well, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, major 7, 1, and then. So if I just start on E and end on E, I get. Sorry. Oh well, actually that's double, but you get the idea. So you can use the diminished arpeggios from a semitone above that E, which is. So if I've got F diminished, then I've also got all like D diminished, I've got B diminished, I've also got A flat, A flat diminished. So, you can make use of those kind of ideas, but let's see what that's going to sound like. So before we watch the last video, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, let me know your thoughts, drop a comment down below. If you have any suggestions for the next video or any requests, I'm more than happy to cater to them. And yeah, stay in touch. Have a good one.